Hey guys, and welcome back to the wrap up for the 6th of December 2018. So essentially, we're going to do something a little different here. I'm going to start using the web version of TI because we've actually added price alerts and some new things to it. And as a Mac user, I definitely like to use that whenever it's possible. You know, a lot of you guys have been following me for a while know I use Amazon Web Services and the cloud for my trading, but when I'm, out and about and scanning, it's great to be able to use something that's native on the computer. So, me switching back and forth here and there. Again, if you are new to this, there's a couple series. I do some live swing trading where I kind of piece together the parts of a swing trade where I manipulate trades. Should be another one next week. There wasn't one this because all of my positions are actually still holding. So I'm just waiting for the next one to close. Spoiler alert, PKI will be one of them. I've been in this for a while, but it just continues to grind higher, so I'll continue to stay with it. So what we do here, though, is I essentially use the ability that Trade Ideas has to backtest strategies to come up with a handful of strategies that look good, both long and short, for 5-day holds at Friday after the close, which is right now. I go through those for what they spit out on Friday, and I try to find, based off my eye, what I think is going to be working the best come next week. We plug those into Trade Ideas' ability to auto trade with Brokerage Plus and have them trade it for us. And then at the end of the week, we close the position, go into the weekend in cash, and start again. And this has been a very profitable strategy, one that I really like, and I've been using for about a year. So if you're interested to see how it goes, you can go back and pretty much every week for the last year has been up there and is looking good. Like that. So we're going to spend a lot of our time here, which is the web version. And if you don't know, Trade Ideas has a web version that has pretty much the same functionality as the download version, and it operates pretty much exactly the same. No new training required. It is missing indicators on the chart, which they're working on, and Brokerage Plus, which they will work on at some point, but that's obviously a big to-do to have kind of a web-to-web auto trader as opposed to a download to download auto trader, which they have now. So quick look at the SPY, a very volatile week. We had a big push down here and then a kind of a pop up after that. But so really we almost ended the week where we started, but it was very volatile as things were happening. This turns into what's sometimes called a hanging man if we get bearish continuation. Or just a hammer on the way up in Japanese candlesticks. So really neutral, to be honest. Again, betting against this market is crazy. This particular candle here is what they call an abandoned baby, which is a pretty high probability candlestick pattern for moving higher. It's when you have a gap down and then it trades for a while for one day and then it gaps back up and it moves higher, right? Just showing that this was just a fake out and people took that opportunity to accumulate more. Looking at what we did last week, we had 3 triggers, 2 winners, 1 loser because of the volatile week and the fact that we kind of closed where we opened. It's not great performance, but I'm happy with it. It was about $2 and 10 cents, I think, when I closed it. They're about to call it $200 per 100 shares traded. We're in the after hours, so things are moving around a bit. TXN basically just triggered today. It gapped right into the area we were looking for to buy and then moved up almost 2 points before it kind of came down. Sorry, almost 1 point before it came down, and we made about 50 cents on it, so that was fine. UPS, we looked like a genius down here, and then with the rally we had on Friday, it came back to get us. This was kind of just a bear flag continuation we were looking at. And Wix, I think, has done this to me twice now, where it gets me in and then it just kind of chops around sideways, so I'm just leaving this one alone. So all in all, 2 winners, 1 loser. Nothing really ran for us, but $200 to just spend a half hour after the close and then leave it for a week. It's better than a kick in the teeth, I guess. So here we are on the web version. I'm going to go over what we're looking at for this week, starting with the longs. So here on LODS, just this chart here is a daily chart, and then this chart here is a weekly chart. Things are a little bit different. Let me know whether you prefer the downloaded version or the web version. They're both the same to me when it comes to this. I just like scanning with the web version as a Mac guy. So LODS, strong uptrend here on the weekly. On the daily, we have uptrended as well, and we're putting in this kind of wedge type pattern with a indecision candle, and an indecision candle, right up where we had an indecision candle and indecision candle. So if you watch me for any length of time, you know how I love these. I love to watch the fight happen, and then I hop in the direction only when the victor of that fight has been decided. So looking for it to break up in this $91 area. PM here, Philip Morris. Nice kind of strong push up, and then we've had this whole area of congestion here. I think I've looked to take this short twice, and we've just had indecision candle, indecision candle, indecision. So this thing's just been chopping sideways for a while. So I think if we break up here, we'll have a continuation potentially higher. If not, then that's fine. Basically, also here, looking at the weekly chart, we have this kind of downtrending line that's happening here where, it's a potential that we break up above that. So I've got that on watch as well. Our weekly chart's gone. 1 second here. And duplicate this and then turn it into a time frame. Weekly, getting a bit of trade ideas tutorial here as well. Move this over, and because that's duplicated, those will all be nice and linked up. So if it breaks that downtrend line, there's a explosive potential on it, but we'll obviously keep that on watch. Monster Energy, I did a live swing trading video where I showed how I actually lost money in this area looking to short this. Out before earnings, we had this big gap up, and this has been kind of chopping sideways. Big strong up candle here, and then 2 days of sideways action. So I think if we break above here, we continue higher. Going back on the weekly chart, if we do break that area, it's like $65 a share before the next significant resistance. So there's some potential there. Essentially Real is kind of a newer issue, but we've had this strong push up and then a big push down in this kind of cup type of scenario down here. I think if we break above that, we have the potential to push higher. Not a very volatile stock, this one. So for my own trading, when I choose the position size on all this, that would be one that I'd look to probably take a little bit bigger. UNP, basically looking at this, if we'll zoom out, you can see UMP, this kind of $170 to $180 area has been resistance for a while. And on the shorter term chart, we've had this move down, and then this kind of on declining volume, we've had this little push up here with a shooting star type of pattern happening here. So I think if we can continue lower, that one may push down. SPG, this is essentially, we've pushed down, we bounced, that bounce looks like it fails, so it's kind of a rollover type of pattern. There is a lot of support in this area, but I think if we get going, we can get going pretty quickly on this one. CCK, a nice kind of bearish engulfing candle here, right? So big strong push up from $40 to $70 here. And then after we've kind of gapped up and pushed lower, so we have this bearish engulfing candle here that I think would spook anybody who's kind of participated in this ride. So if we continue to break down here, I'm going to look to short, and we've got this kind of window or void, I've seen people call it, but this area of kind of nothingness, and we could go down into the $65 area. Last but not least, TWOU. This is a bit, I'm going to zoom in. This is a bit of a weird looking chart here. But we've had these kind of big strong pushes up and then dramatic selling, and then big strong push up and then dramatic selling, and then big strong push up and dramatic selling. So it leaves us with this big void underneath, and seeing that when the sellers come into this, they come in pretty hard. If I'm riding this uptrend after the third or fourth kind of big engulfing type sell-off that I've seen, I would start to get kind of worried. And then looking at the weekly, this thing is obviously in quite the downtrend. So we're going to take a quick look over here on crypto, even though nothing really has happened since last week. Last week, we were kind of in this area. I said, I was kind of paying attention to this purple line here to see if we got above it. And really nothing has happened. We've been kind of chopping sideways. One important thing to kind of note is if you see this big, strong push up that was met with selling, and then this another big, strong push up that was met with selling, I've seen this often in the crypto markets where they're thinner and less liquid markets. Less people are interested and concerned with them than in the equity markets. So quite often when I see these kind of quick reversals in crypto, it shows that there's somebody is waiting for the other move. So they're waiting for an up move to sell in this case. So that makes me more bearish than bullish. I'm going to continue to kind of watch this area, and this is going to be the area that I'm interested in. We do have a potential bear flag that's happening here. So if we break this line, I may short some more. Stop loss would be over this area. So that is what I am watching for this week, guys. Again, I hope if some of these swings that I'm in now finish up, then I will post those videos for you guys once I edit them together. If not, I'll see you next week. I'm taking the level 2 of my chartered market technician next week. So it's going to be kind of a busy week of studying for that. But hopefully I'll have something more out for you by then.